HorizonTV, the beacon for the nation. This program is suitable for general viewing.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A very good evening. My name is Faisal, Kassim, and welcome to the live roll talk. You don't get this often, but this is one of the very few times you find both the guest and the host sharing a name. This is an amazing gentleman that I've hosted here not once, not twice, thrice, but 4 times, alhamdulillah, on live roll talk show, discussing about some of the issues that he's dealing with and he's passionate with. Faisal Ibrahim Issa is an advocate of community wellness and really matters to do with the empowerment of the youth. He is an educationist, an entrepreneur on matters education, IT, and voila, I've just realized he's also into finance. Nothing better to talk about everything to do with finance and community empowerment, rather. That's what I meant to say, community empowerment, which is extremely important and close to his heart. And we're here to talk about education. We have seen a number of conversations moving around the whole topic of education, and we're here to talk about it, inshallah, to the best of our ability, under 5 main categories. One being education as a foundation for youth engagement, youth in development, that is from tokenism to true partnership. We all know about the bad culture of handouts, and if anything, we just remember a couple of weeks ago on social media, people are complaining the way the youth were being misused by the politicians to sort of disrupt a peaceful protest, right? So these were allegations that are all over social media, and as you all know, we are going into the political season in the near future, and it's very important to have such conversation. Next, we'll be talking about public policy, creating youth inclusive framework so that the youth will not be used as tools anytime politicians would want to use them as rugs, use them and dump them. We look at decision-making spaces, that is moving beyond symbolism. And of course, last but not least, what are some of those barriers to youth inclusion in everything that we do? Talk of education, talk of business, talk of... I'm telling you, it's too much, but we're going to try to unpack it to the best of our ability within the 45 minutes that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant us tonight. So please, sit back, relax, take a notebook or take your phone and start getting notes. Habibi, assalamu alaikum wa
alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you?
Sheikh Faisal.
Kasalama.
Alhamdulillah.
Wallahi, good to see you once again.
Good to see you too.
MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for making time for us this evening, Adar. You know, last week we had a show about the Qazi Squad, but again we started way back, and we really learned history about the whole aspect of the coastal part becoming part of Kenya, and why Qazi Squad, how Qazi Squad is ensuring the constitution. And we promised our viewers that today we're going to continue that. But we said, let's take a break again. Let's break it off.
Yes.
You have found time in a busy schedule to be with us. So we take a break with that. Let's discuss matters youth, and then next week we'll continue that conversation.
Thank you very much.
So also this should serve as an apology to the viewers that we promised. But I promise you, this is one of a kind show. Sheikh Faisal, you are an entrepreneur. You have started an institution which came to really disrupt how education system was working before in this part of Africa. That is Andalucia Academy. So how has your experience shaped then your perspective on the role of education in empowering the youth?
Thank you very much, Faisal. I would like to say my journey started way back in terms of my passion for youth and education, and that started way back with the time I was youth myself, and had an opportunity to be at one of the best schools in Kenya, that's Starehe Boys, where I picked up the ethos from Dr. Geoffrey William Griffiths, who was the director there, and his passion for youth and education was infectious enough for me to veer off from what I was doing before to now focus on education and youth engagement. So that for me is a passion for youth and passion for education. So that's how I started Andalucia Academy.
Wow.
And alhamdulillah, this is the 15th year that we're going strong.
Wow.
And alhamdulillah, youth engagement and youth interest are center of everything that we should be thinking about in this country.
So what foundations have you put in place, or the ethos or the structures that you've put in place to then make Andalucia have strong youth value in terms of adding value and make them to be upright Muslims and citizens in this country? Now,
for me, I would say education as tool for empowerment of the youth is central to everything that we do. I'm privileged to have been to have started this institution and built upon it, and throughout the years that we've been around, we've seen the impact that it has. So for me, the impact after these youth have come into our institution and go out is what we're proud of. Some of them have gone into, become useful members of the society. Some of them are in different fields, like some are doctors at the moment, some are, pilots, we have them. And I was privileged one time I was traveling in one of these, aircrafts going from one place to another. And surprisingly, one of my students was out there.
Wow.
So that is what actually drives us to see that not only what we are doing within classroom, what happens at the end, what is the end result?
The end result, yeah.
Is what actually makes us, that's exciting for us. It's not anything else.
Beautiful. Andalucia Academy is one of the initial Muslim integrated schools.
Yes.
In Nairobi.
Yes. And
Kenya by extension.
Yes.
What role then does Islam or value-based or value-based on education play in shaping the leadership then?
What I will say is, I would say there are other schools which are integrated Islamic education, but I think we were the first to be in the space of international education.
Yes.
Yeah, so that space is where was our niche, and not only that. So we looked at separating. The gender, where we have girls separate education and boys separate education. That would also help us, grow these kids in an Islamic environment. And central to everything that we do is them picking up their deen, and because that's integrated within the education that they take up in our schools, I think there's not any other international schools at the time we started that had this aspect where you have international education as well as you have this Islamic education that is integrated within our curriculum that actually caters for them. So it's really exciting to come in the morning to the school, and what you see is they start with they start with Quran, and everyone is doing that, and that actually inspires me, to see that these kids are not only gaining beneficial education in terms of dunya, but they also are able to become upright Muslims and have impact in our society.
In our society.
Yes.
Well, that's amazing. Mashallah, congratulations for that. I remember coming to Andalusia sometimes around, what was it, 2015, 2016, thereabout.
Yes.
In South Sea, thereabout.
Yes.
Congratulations for that.
Thank you very much.
You often speak about meaningful inclusion of youth. What does true youth partnership in development look like from your point of view?
Well, what I would say is education as foundation for youth engagement is an important aspect that we should be thinking about. Now, what we need to look at is the curriculum that we are taking students through. Is it useful in the sense that is it empowering them, or is it disempowering them? So that should be an aspect that we are looking at in terms of education. That should feature the foundations for our education.
Yeah.
And now, what else am I talking about? I'm talking about within that space, you have students or youth learning about the role of critical thinking.
Yes.
Skills that they would pick up. Now again, digital creative digital space where kids are engaged in. So how do you now integrate in within their foundation so that they are able to integrate within that? And it's also looking at what they do within the classroom and how does it how do they apply out there. Yeah. Not just learning within the walls of their classroom, but whatever it is that they're learning, how do they now apply that outside the classroom? Yes.
Which begs the question, there has been a lot of concerns that as much as education ideally should play a very strong role in setting the foundation for these youth, in Kenya, unfortunately, it does not prepare the youth for, or the young person, or the learner for his youthful stage and later in his career. And that's why you find there are a couple of graduates, but still they are not fit for the job market. And while at it, you've mentioned something to do with technology, and we are witnessing the artificial intelligence disruption, which is domiciled in technology. And then it's coming to affect a lot of careers. How then do you integrate this to ensure that that youth has a strong foundation which will make him an upright youth? That learner has a strong foundation which will in tandem then make them an upright youth.
An interesting thing that you've actually picked up is the role of AI at the moment and the disruption that is actually occurring as a result of AI technology. Now, youth must be actually prepared in gaining this knowledge of AI and how it is that they're going to use it productively and ethically, because AI has it's like it's a blade that has a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
So how do they actually use this technology to now be useful to the society? And we've seen the impact of AI and how that is. And there's a lot of disruption at the moment. If within our curriculum, schools are not thinking about, at the moment, extracurricular activities within the tech space where they learn these useful skills that is going to be useful to them and not have a negative.
Is that something you've already started to implement?
Yes, that's what we. That's something that we've formed within our school at the end of weekends. That we have started small classes where we teach several aspects of AI technology and other tech.
Wow.
Spaces that are important.
That's really impressive, and I'm saying it's really impressive because as a country, as a continent, we are used to playing second fiddle in such a way that when it comes to technology, then we always join the party late.
Yes.
We always join the party late with skepticism, right? I can give an example when, for example, our millennials, as millennials, our wonder on our age was the digital media, and in particular the Facebook. So when it started, then it received a lot of backlash. People saying that you should avoid, there's a lot of filth. I remember even some sheikhs saying that, that is facade book.
Yes.
It's not even Facebook, it's facade book, right?
Yes, yes.
So keep away from it.
Keep away from it.
It's haram.
Yes, yes.
They even declared it haram.
Yes.
So as you realize as a people, as a people, we tend then to be repulsive to change, which is normal character of any human being, but it makes us then miss out on a lot of good opportunities.
Yes.
So it's really impressive to see that Andalucia Academy actually has embraced AI technology at its inception stage, so that even the next technology, I'm sure, should not be a problem, right?
Yes. Well, this is a program that we're thinking about just opening it up to any because it's an extra curricular thing, so it's open to any Muslim or any students that are willing and have the time to do that over the weekends to learn these skills. So that's something in progress at the moment, and so it's open to anybody. Yeah.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
Now, looking into aspect of youth and development, that is moving from tokenism to true partnership.
Yes.
If anything you see on digital media, the Gen Z coming out and protesting, one thing they are complaining is that they're not being heard. Like the president is not listening. The government is not listening. They are trying to say things, follow the rule of law, follow the constitution, and they feel the president is not listening. They are not being heard. They do not have a space on the table. So that's why then the only option left for them is demonstrating outside there on the street.
Yes.
Right? So youth in development, looking at moving from that migration from where it currently is for a good number of youth, especially the lowest part of the pyramid, which is the tokenism part, which they really take, they really benefit greatly during campaigns and election, to partnership, true partnership.
Yes.
Where they are brought onto the table, they discuss issues, and their voices are being heard. What does the ideal picture of these, from tokenism to true partnership, what does that ideal picture looks like in your hand?
Okay, what I would say is, I would say any development that is happening without the youth is actually, you would say it's outdated already, because you see, youth are not short of ideas.
Yes,
they have the ideas. So it's moving away from tokenism that we've seen across, in the society, where there's handouts and all that, and turn that around to partnership and getting this youth, in partnership with institutions in government, and shaping, how we see the future. That is something that is, is very important for us to think about. So it's important that we engage youth in partnership, and avoid tokenism, which has been the culture of our country.
So basically, when we are talking about development, then the youth should also be at the center stage of that discussion. Exactly. It's not that the people are discussing and then you have brought the results.
Yes.
So this is what we discussed, so let's implement.
No, they should be the co-creators of these developments.
But the naysayers would come here and say, for example, when we're talking about Gen Zs are too lazy to even bring them onto the table. Talk about millennials who are still youth, they say, these people, they feel a bit entitled. They are, we are called the microwave generation, right? We want instant results, instant gratification. We don't want to go through the process. So basically, the people who are sitting on the tables, they have all the bad names. They have all the excuses they can get in the book not to include the youth when it comes to make decisions. Illa man rahim rabb, except very few institutions.
Yes.
So how would you respond to that?
Well, I would say that, where you have these institutions, name calling the youth,
yes,
and not giving them the chance, it's bad faith, because you need to engage them as co-creators. Well, there are things that needs to do from the policy levels, where you empower them through training, you empower them through mentorship, and all these things that would help you come up with with good development models that is co-created by youth and the adults. So that's an excuse to sideline the youth.
The youth.
Yeah, they must be, and they are not. They don't have a shortage of ideas. they do, and you've seen them, is what they're lacking is how do we, within a framework, help them to, mentor them to fit into these positions where they're able to impact in terms of development and come up with solutions so that it becomes a win-win situation where the youth are the co-creators of these development aspects of our nation. But at the moment that's not happening. It's only left to the older people, where they'll have to wait until their time comes. No, that's not a good strategy. The good strategy is to empower them by mentorship. Give them the space to learn and engage them in these things. Very good statistics at the moment. If you look at the 2022 national statistics of youth, we have a population of 75% of youth in this country. And if you look at youth leadership, we have around 6% who are engaged in
active leadership.
And we're talking about people who are aged 35 and below. That's the statistics that's there. So we have a very big, huge population of youth, 75% of this country. And if you look at them in terms of leadership, they only occupy like 6% of the leadership positions that we have in this country. That's not sustainable. Yeah, that's danger.
That's true.
So they must be empowered to come into these spaces, be mentored, take up the mantle of leadership, and so that they can demonstrate what they can contribute to this country, rather than exclude them.
Why do you think tokenism is quite prevalent in the country right now, as you speak?
I think it's a cultural thing. I think it's about poverty that we see around. It's about seeing people who are, who would like to have the status quo, there, give a token here and there, which is meaningless, and it doesn't help at all.
Okay.
So it's a cultural thing. It's something that that needs a shift of mind in our society.
Thanks so much for that. We are due right now for our first break, 36 minutes past 8 o'clock. We are due for our first break right here on Live Real Talk. So I'm going to ask you to please just keep it there, keep it locked. Amazing, very rich conversations going on right here in the studio with Faisal, Ibrahim, Issa. So please do not touch that dial. I'll see you after the break.
HorizonTV, the beacon for the nation. Verse of the day.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا وإذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلاما والذين يبيتون لربهم سجدا وقياما والذين يقولون ربنا اصرف عنا عذاب جهنم إن عذابها كان غراما إنها ساءت مستقرا ومقاما.
Are you looking to stay informed informed about the amazing stories within the Muslim community? Do you want to hear inspiring stories and insightful discussions about faith, culture, and current events? Tune in to the Muslim Insight, your weekly news updates where we tell you stories that matter to you. The Muslim Insight, informing, inspiring, every Friday from 8 a.m. with me, Zamzam Ahmed.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون.
Enyi mlioamini, munapoitwa kuhudhuria swala ya Ijumaa, fanyeni haraka kuikimbilia, muache biashara zenu, hilo ni bora ikiwa mwelewa.
Isikilizeni kwa umakinifu khutba ya Ijumaa
ili uzidi kujenga imani yako na kupata faida nyingi ya siku hii.
Coming to you every Friday from Jamia Mosque, Nairobi.
Live on HorizonTV.
HorizonTV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much for keeping it live. World Talk. We are back with Zewetu, Shekhwetu, our entrepreneur, educationist, and a champion for youth and society development, community development in general. That is Faisal, Ibrahim, Issa. And we spoke a lot about, for example, education being setting the foundation for the youth. We spoke about this whole culture of tokenism, moving from tokenism to true partnership. And we said the youth, the 75% of the youth actually have to be on the table when these discussions are being discussed. So then the question is, what gaps, in your opinion, have you seen that are there in the public policies when it comes to youth inclusion? What are these gaps that are stopping youth from being included in the policies?
I think creating frameworks where youth are included in these policies is a very important thing that needs to happen. Now, what we're seeing at the moment is there's, I mean, I've given you the statistics, which is there. It can be verified. 2022, we know the population of youth in this country is 75%. And if we further drill down, we see 6% of these are the ones who are in leadership position only. And that's, we're talking about 35 and below. So I think one of the policies that should happen is both at our county levels and the national government level is to include and enforce a way of getting youth at the table in terms of representation. There is a lopsided representation at the moment, 75% of the population, with only 6% in representation.
Someone would argue nothing is stopping the youth from actually vying for these positions. How do you respond to that?
There are things that are actually preventing youth from thing, and I think we've discussed, is the issue of tokenism and the barrier to entry for them into leadership position. We know leadership position at the moment is the person with the strong muscle in terms of capital is the one that actually goes through. Even if we have youth that are in leadership position, somehow they get into this position through backing from the capitals that they
muscles,
have, with muscles, So that is one aspect which is a barrier to them, and the fact that there's also this cultural norm where leadership is only a preserve of the older generation and not the younger generation. That's also a barrier in itself.
So basically that is a societal barrier and a societal norm that you think should be changed.
Yes, definitely, yes. These are challenge.
And then let me ask you, to try and create spaces for women in leadership in this country, a couple of measures were ratified to have at least women occupying spaces in leadership in this country. So some of them were, for example, the women rep position. Like in every county, there'll be one position particularly for the women. And then there was also another move, the 2/3 gender rule, which is yet to be implemented 15 years later. Yes. Since the promulgation of the new constitution in 2010, the first election after that, which was 2012. Now we're talking about 15 years later since the promulgation and 13 years later since we had the first election with the new constitution. And we are yet to see that being implemented. So my question is that then, should we have then policy change that should allow the youth, should preserve a certain seats for the youth? Let's say a member of the county assembly, for example?
Exactly. This is actually what I'm saying. The lack of representation in this position and the lack of actually, giving them space in terms of representation based on their numbers is one of the things that the powers that the people that are in power at the moment should be thinking about, deliberately having youth at the table.
Because at the moment now, with the few nomination slots that are there for parties, what I've seen being the trend is that there are positions slated for the youth, there are positions slated for the PWDs and the women.
Yes.
That's been happening. But again, when it comes to elective positions, it's the most popular. It's a simple majority, at least with the exception of the president, which is 50% plus one.
Yes. I think what's very interesting to note is it's an issue of implementation.
Okay.
We have good policies in place, but the issue is, are they being implemented?
Not really.
And as you've actually pointed out, we have quotas that are set for women representation in parliament. Has that happened?
Not yet.
It has not yet happened. So it's issue of change of culture and not burying our heads into the sand and not seeing that this is going to haunt and come back later. Youth population is there, and the statistics are showing their numbers, but are they adequately represented within the legislature, at the county level and at the national level? No, not at all. Very small, 6% is what we have at the moment.
I'm really interested to know, are there any places that you've seen they have successfully implemented the youth inclusion in their policies and governance and all their frameworks?
Well, I've
be it business, be it leadership, be it governance. Have you seen?
I think a good example is, these Western countries we've seen. These barriers that we are talking about are less less prevalent, and those are there are examples which we can see that youth leadership in many countries that that are there. But for us here in Kenya, we need to see this youth empowered and brought to the table, based on their representation as far as their numbers are concerned.
You mentioned two key words there that you say this youth, they needs to be empowered and they need to be included.
Yes.
And they need to sit at the table.
Yes. Which
then made me think there are youth who are being used symbolically, because we know your numbers, we know how big you are, we know how unsettled you can get. So what you're going to do is that we're going to invite you over and create a seat for you. Faisal Ibrahim shouted on Horizon TV, say we need to create space for you, so we're going to create a chair for you, but you're here to be seen and not to be heard.
Yes.
So basically they're just there symbolically.
That's the tokenism that we've been talking about, which leads to nothing but more disappointments and burying the problems, under instead of dealing with it.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. That's not a good strategy. I mean, it has to come to a a shift in the thinking, in terms of putting these people, I mean, giving them the space that is rightfully theirs, and they are the future leaders. We talk about they are the future leaders. They need to be, propped up, helped to get to that position where they lead ethically and morally and all the good things that leadership is supposed to be.
Great. The viewer back at home has had the conversation and is like, you know what, now I'm going to try and do something, and I'm sure it won't start with him. So there are people who have attempted to do something, can be social, can be political, can be economical, but again there are a couple of things that are standing in on their way as barriers, and they cannot really achieve it. A good classical example that I relate to, I've related to at the moment for a while now, is I've met a number of young people with brilliant ideas, with no funding. You go seek for funding, you're told, so your bank account, your savings, your referees, securities and all that. This is just a young man, maybe still in university, but again, he has this brilliant, transformative idea. But again, there are a couple of barriers to entry.
I think this is a societal issue that is within that we can see. It's a barrier that is there. The young people in this country have got good ideas, as you say, but they don't have the funding models. They don't have a way to actually show that whatever it is that they have will be productive, and that they can show it. So I think it drills down to the level of, let's say, even a mosque, yeah, or the level of our area. How do we create spaces where these brilliant ideas can be funded, and there are things that can be done. I mean, as Islamically, there are models for helping each other.
What are some of those models that are existing in the industry or in the market by extension?
Like pulling resources together is one way of doing it. Tradition. It doesn't. You don't need to go to to a bank loan or to anything like that, where people can see a brilliant idea that is somebody has, and a pool of investors, individuals, can pull their resources together and fund this thing. and avoid, unethical, financial models that does not align with our, religion. So it's happened. You've seen within our society here in Kenya, where individuals come together, they identify a project, everyone chips in, and they do it. It has happened. It's not rocket science. It's there, and I think these are the frameworks that we should encourage within our society and our
By design, there are some people who are the holders of the fortress, the holders of the positions, the holders of these positions. We call them the powers that be.
Yes.
For some reason, they are quite protective of those positions, and they are trying to frustrate any efforts to see a youth occupying or sort of almost coming closer to these positions. What would your advice be?
I think it needs sincerity, and it needs the right intentions. Okay, I mean, where we are at the moment in terms of youth, revolting, is as a result of what we do or what we don't do, okay, for this youth, that has actually brought this situation where we have youth revolting and all the societal problem that we are seeing at the moment. I mean, we can say continue like this, and they will come for you at the end, because their numbers are growing. And if you have no plans for them, you're inviting chaos and all that. So it needs sincerity from our leaders. A way of actually doing it is to bring the youth and the older people together as partners in the society, as opposed to the youth versus the old. It should be partnership between these the young people and the old people.
The entities.
Yes.
Wow. I'll give you a few minutes now to give your parting shot as we are wrapping up this conversation tonight about the whole aspect of education and youth empowerment.
Yes, the parting shot for me is what next? I mean, it's about building capacity for these young people in terms of policy frameworks for them, and not tokenism. Bring them to the table. It's about giving them the chance, as I said. If you can't, I mean, these young people just need to be mentored, create trainings that would help them fit within these positions that you're about to offer them, or that they're aspiring for. So create conditions where the barriers are less for entry into leadership. Create spaces for them to not look at education as the only as means to get employment, but they can also be trained to be entrepreneurs, where they can they can be mentored to businesses that they can do, instead of having the mindset that all of them that go to the university must come out at the other end with an employment. That's not sustainable. It's not possible to do that. But give them, empowerment in terms of having them come up with initiative of, entrepreneurship. That's what I would say.
So much.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Jazakallah khair. Thanks so much for making time for us this evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Guys, and that's how we are wrapping it up here tonight on Live Real Talk, when we were talking about matters of youth development, policy framework, education, and more than anything, how do the youth take up then their position in our society, whether in political space, economic space, social space, and how it's going to be perceived by the holders of the positions as it is right now. Again, I ask you to sit back, relax, and get yourself a notebook. I hope you have collected as much notes as I have before we started this show. All these are my notes. So guys, come on. This cannot be made up. If you are a holder of the position, you've had it correctly tonight here. If you do not create a position for them, then guess what? They'll come for you. Because power, as it is being said, it's not given, it's taken. So if you don't give them that position, then they may as well implement what we just said a few minutes ago. They'll come and take in the power. It may be messy, it may be noisy, and nobody wants that. We want a peaceful country, we want a peaceful community, we want a peaceful nation. I always say this, one successful community would be the one which they're using the wisdom from the old and the innovation and the vigor from the youth and the energy. Combine these two together and we're going to have a very, very powerful community and a society by extension. My name is Faisal Kassim, and as always, thank you so much for keeping it live, Real Talk here throughout the hour that we have been together. See you next week, simply, same time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.